7 minutes of silence. Chapter 2. The click. The sound itself was so faint that under normal circumstances Andrei might have dismissed it as a trick of the mind, a loose fragment settling somewhere deep in the structure, a ghost of movement in an already broken place. But this was not a normal night, and Vega was not a dog that reacted to nothing. The instant the click cut through the silence, her entire body shifted. Not dramatically, not theatrically, just a precise, razor-sharp transition from readiness to action, like a switch flipped somewhere deep inside her nervous system. Down, and reset. But the word came out more as a reflex than a command. He didn't wait to see what she had detected. He trusted the instinct theirs shared. He dropped hard against the concrete floor, palms scraping, breath already tightening in his chest as his body braced for impact. The explosion didn't come from where he expected. It hit from the side. A directional charge, clean, efficient, brutal. The wall tore open with a violent crack, metal shrieking as if it were alive, and the shock waves slammed into him before his brain could catch up with reality. Heat, pressure, dust. Everything collapsed into a single overwhelming moment. For a split second, the world simply blinked out. No sound, no structure, no sense of up or down, just nothing. Then air rushed back into his lungs like he'd been underwater, and with it came pain, sharp, immediate, grounding. His ears rang, his vision swam, but training kicked in before panic had a chance to take hold. Vega. He turned instinctively, scanning through the thick cloud of dust that now filled the corridor. Shapes blurred and reformed, shadows stretching and collapsing in the shifting light. She was already on her feet. Of course she was. While Andrei was still shaking the impact out of his system, Vega had moved on, processing, recalibrating, working. Her movements were tight and economical, every step deliberate, her head cutting through the haze as she mapped the space in ways no human could. "Vega, report," he rasped, fully aware of how absurd it sounded to anyone else. Her response was immediate. She didn't look at the bridge. She snapped toward the stairwell. Andrei followed her gaze, and that's when he heard it. Footsteps. Fast. Closing in. No hesitation. "Sophia, we've got company," he said into the calm, his voice low but steady now. "This wasn't just a trap. It's an ambush." Static cracked for a moment before her voice came through, controlled as ever. "I'm on you. I had 2 hit signatures. Hold on. That's not right." There was no time to unpack that. A figure emerged through the dust, weapon already raised, moving with the kind of confidence that came from knowing exactly what they were walking into. No warning, no attempt to access, just action. Vega didn't wait. She moved first, faster than thought, faster than reaction, a flash of controlled force that closed the distance in a heartbeat. She didn't go for the weapon, not directly. She went for the decision behind it, disrupting the moment before it could fully exist. The impact was clean and decisive. The attacker hit the ground hard. The air punched out of him in a single broken exhale. The weapon skidded away across the concrete, disappearing somewhere in the debris. Andrei was on him a second later, adrenaline sharpening every moment. He pinned the man's arm, forced him flat, secured control. "Don't even think about it," he muttered, but the man didn't resist. That was the first thing that didn't sit right. No struggle, no attempt to escape, no panic, just compliance. Too easy. "Sophia, we've got one," Andrei said. "But something's off." "I know," she replied immediately. "I just lost both hit signatures." He frowned. "Both?" "You had two. Now I have none." "That's impossible." "Yeah," she said quietly. "That's what worries me." Andrei looked down at the man beneath him. Up close he seemed almost relaxed, his breathing steady, his expression composed. Then he smiled. Not nervously, not arrogantly, knowingly. Andrei felt a chill crawl up his spine. Behind him, something changed. At first, it was just a subtle shift, a low mechanical hum, almost too soft to register. But it didn't belong. It didn't match anything in the environment, any system Sophia could be monitoring. Vega reacted instantly. Her ears snapped forward, her body tightening, not in fear, but in recognition. "Sophia," Andrei said under his breath, "tell me you're seeing this." There was a pause on the line. "I'm not." The hum deepened slightly, like something powering up behind the curtain of reality itself. The air felt warm, charged, dense, as if the space around them was holding its breath. Then Sophia spoke again, faster this time. "Hit signatures just dropped again. I've got nothing. No you, no target, nothing at all." Andrei's grip tightened instinctively. The man beneath him exhaled slowly, almost contentedly. "7 minutes," he said. The words landed heavier than they should have. And then everything stopped. Not gradually, not with a fade. Instantly. The hum cut out. The dust in the air froze mid-motion, suspended like particles trapped in glass. Sound vanished, not faded, vanished, as if someone had flipped the world to mute. Andrei couldn't move, not because he was restrained, because movement simply wasn't there anymore. It felt like reality had skipped a beat and forgotten to come back. But Vega was still there. Her body remained still, but her eyes moved, tracking something that existed just outside the limits of human perception. No panic, not confusion, recognition, like she had seen this before, or was finally understanding it. And then, just as abruptly as it had begun, the world snapped back. Sound crashed in all at once. Dust fell, air shifted. Time resumed its relentless forward motion. Andrei staggered slightly, his body struggling to reconcile the gap. The man was gone. No movement, no exit, no trace, just absence. "No," Andrei muttered, turning sharply, scanning every angle. "That's not possible." But the corridor was empty. Only Vega remained where she had been, standing perfectly still, her gaze locked onto a point in space that no longer held anything at all. "She has seen it," Sophia said quietly over the com. Andrei didn't take his eyes off Vega. "How?" A pause. Then softer, more careful. "I don't think it disappeared." Andrei's jaw tightened. "Then what the hell was that?" Sophia exhaled slowly. "I think," she said, "it was never fully here to begin with."